You gotta get the food out the trunk.
I'm going live.
Huh?
Live.
Huh?
I'm live.
What you say, Dave?
Constant Pressure Kennels, tuning in. I wanted to get on here and go live. We're going to be digging deep into understanding a family of dogs, understanding the traits within a family of dogs. We're going to be talking and chopping it up about this subject. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to tune in and chime in. So I wanted to break down how we got how I started with my foundation, how I made some of my best dogs here recently. I did a brother and sister breeding, and this is what I'm basing most of my program off of: a litter-mate brother and sister breeding. A lot of people they don't understand breeding within a family, so I'm gonna break down a little bit when it comes to that. So I suggest only breeding within a family if you understand the family of dogs that you're breeding into. Um, in our cases, we got over 17 years of experience with this specific family. Um, it has came to be known as Constant Pressure line. So it's a combination of some of our foundation dogs, some of the dogs we started with, some of the dogs that we understood. Um, like I said, understanding the family is the first step in understanding the traits that they possess. Um, if you're just breeding brother and sister together and you don't have any understanding of where they come from or what the traits they possess, then you'll be working backwards. Um, it is okay to breed within a family. It is okay to do brother and sister breedings. You got to understand how tight you're going. You got to understand. Um, you got to understand what you're looking for. I'm gonna say that again. So when we did our brother and sister breeding, we were looking for the traits that both of the parents possessed. We wanted to make them stronger. We wanted to bring them out and make them stand out even more. So we brought those two dogs together and in hopes to get better dogs in the future. Don't get me wrong, you won't always get better dogs from this combination, but because you're going to be pulling the negative traits from that family and you're going to be pulling the positive traits from that family. Um, so you're going to be doubling up on both. So if you got a lot of negative that you've seen in front of those dogs, then you probably don't want to do a brother and sister breedings. But if you got a lot of positive things that you've seen from those dogs, then it's a good idea to lock in those traits for further generations to come. Uh, so I was looking for some of the traits this display was that the parents displayed were the on and off switch, as I talked about before. These dogs possessed a switch that allowed them to be on at certain times and allowed them to be off at certain times. So I would call this or deem this as a stable dog. A lot of people, they're looking for these crazy dogs that are acting crazy on the chain and they're constantly on. But for me, it's been easier to raise dogs that possess the smarts and the understanding that you don't always have to be on and there's a time and place for everything. So some of these traits, what I was looking for. Um, so the on and off switch, that was one of them. Um, these dogs possessed a lot of drive, a lot of prey drive, a lot of willingness to please. Um, that's what I look for in a good dog too. You got to want to work. You got to want to participate in the activities that I'm looking for you to participate in. You got to be focused. You know, you got to not lose interest quick. Um, so these are the some of the traits that the parents possess that I wanted to pass on for more generations to come. Um, Another was wind. I seen a outstanding amount of wind in the parents. Like I could take them and put a lot of work into them, and some of the other dogs that did the same work, they couldn't keep up with the pace. So I was very impressed with the wind that they possessed and the stamina. So I wanted to bring these out traits out stronger. I was also impressed with the mouth. When working a flirt pole or a spring pole, they show quick mouths, um, and devastating mouths when hunting in the woods on a pig or whatever you're hunting for. They all show great mouth. Um, I'd say maybe one of the negative traits that were in there was probably stubbornness. You know, and the dogs, they feel like that they were so smart that they could do as much work as they wanted to do at times. Like they would take shortcuts. You know, sometimes you'll get a dog that's so smart that it thinks it could time the flirt pole or go at its pace. 100%. Um, but so these are probably some of the negative, things. The dogs were too smart. They just wanted to do things on their time sometimes. But moving forward, when I did the brother and sister breeding, I got a dog specifically. I named her Dynasty, and she's a big part of this next generation of Constant Pressure because I bred her 3 times after she proved herself to be a stable dog, after she proved herself to be a good dog. I bred her 3 times to 3 different studs, and I got great dogs, great dogs from her. Every breeding I did with her, it didn't matter the stud. I got consistent dogs with the traits. They threw that mouth that I was looking for. They threw that stamina that I was looking for. They threw that prey drive that I was looking for. They threw the focus type of dogs that I was looking for. So she was um in my case, the brother and sister breeding worked perfect for what I was looking for. Um One of her first breedings, I bred her to a dog that was also from a brother and sister breeding. He wasn't her brother and sister, but he was from a brother and sister breeding himself. And that's where I got my Farrakhan, the great dog, from. And that's where I got his siblings from. And if you know anything about those dogs, you know that they're consistent to what I mentioned. And man, so I couldn't ask for a better start from this new generation of dogs using Dynasty. Um, it it wasn't just a guess. I didn't just guess. It wasn't a guessing game. I could have bred other dogs together, and it probably could have worked too. But I knew that this was going to work because I knew specifically I had watched this family for generations and generations. Hey, salute to Mayhem Kennels. Hey, man, I appreciate you always supporting the channel. Hey, man, you got some good dogs over there, man. Keep on doing your thing, family. Yes, sir. So, like I said, feel free to chime in, man. If y'all want to pull up a topic, if y'all want me to drop my knowledge on a certain topic, I will. But yeah, so I use these foundation dogs to create the next generation for Constant Pressure, and this is understanding the traits that you're dealing with is important because we're not just breeding dogs just to be breeding, and we're not just breeding pretty dogs together. We're breeding dogs that work a certain type of way, that have a certain mentality, and that can keep up with the work pace. So this is all important in creating a foundation of dogs. The apple don't fall too far from the tree, is the saying. So everybody thinks that they could breed subpar dogs together and maybe luck up and get a good dog, or maybe they can breed a female that doesn't possess any good traits to a male who is a champion or possesses all the good traits and good dogs. Yeah, it could happen. You could get good dogs from that, but the consistent number is what we're looking for. We're looking for all the puppies to come out very similar. We don't want our dogs to range to be too much different. You know what I mean? We want them to stay consistent to who they are. You know what I mean? As a whole, so it's very important to understand what you're looking at, not just going to breeders and getting dogs and just breeding them because their pet is good. Find out what those dogs are really good at. Find out what they the traits that they possess, and then move forward with your program. Um, in the past, I've taken chances dealing with other kennels and got dogs from other people, and got caught up in pretty pets at times and stuff like that. We all do it. It all looks good and stuff like that. But if you don't have any understanding of that family of dogs, I wouldn't suggest adding it to your family. Now, get a good understanding of what those dogs possess. Then, yeah, add them to your family, and then go back into your family again after you go out. To tighten up on your traits that are working. Don't get so caught up in chasing the fads. Understand your family of dogs, and that's how you keep on producing good dogs. So yes, sir. Man, those traits are important. Important in building a family of dogs. You gotta keep it honest. Keep your eyes honest through it all. Don't never just give dogs the pass just because, again, their pet is good. Don't just give them a pass, man. That it never works in the favor for your family of dogs, man. And going backwards can be detrimental to your bloodline, man, because it takes a lot to get those consistent dogs. So once you get off the wrong path, then it's hard to get back on the right path. I'm always concerned. I know a lot of people, they like to breed and they get the puppies off of those, and then they take those puppies at a young age and they breed them back to older dogs from their bloodline. But make sure that you're understanding those puppies. Yeah, we could just breed and breed and breed for generations and generations just because the pairs match up, but that's not how you get the best dogs. So again, understanding those traits, keeping an honest eye on what you see and what you're looking at. You know what I mean? Don't fool yourself. Don't lie to yourself through the process. You know what I mean? Do not lie to yourself during the process. Be honest. Be honest of what you observe. Be honest of what you see. And don't make excuses for these dogs. You know what I mean? If they're not working, they're not working. Move forward with your program. I don't care how much money you spend. I don't care if you pay $3,500 for a dog. If it's not working, move forward in your program. There's no use of adding it to your program, And, a lot of people, they go by trial and error, and that's okay because I've been there before too. I've tried it, and I never got the type of dogs that I wanted by just going through trial and error. You know what I mean? I wanted to actually have an understanding of those dogs before I added them to my family of dogs, So yeah, Constant Pressure Kennels, we're here. I wanted to touch, we got the Jaeger dog here. If you guys know about the Jaeger dog, we were able to acquire him at Constant Pressure Kennels. We were blessed by the previous owners. They gave us the opportunity and we jumped on it. So he's here. He's going to be open for stud in 2023 through 2024. He's going on 8 years old. So get in line, man. Go ahead and pay that stud fee and get you a good litter from him. We know that the Crow line is a consistent line of dogs for many generations. How long do you think it take to understand a dog? Well, I say if you get your good you get your good looks when the dogs comes of age, don't ever rush your dogs, take your time, let them develop, let them show you who they are, let them show you when they're ready to hunt those hogs, you know what I mean? um don't rush them, take your time, observe them, give them time to develop into the dog that they want to be, don't put too much pressure on them early, give them a fair chance to make it. So I'd say it may take up to 3.5 years sometimes to understand a dog. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. I had bought a female from Titan Kennels. Sorry, excuse me. She was off of a breeding that my buddies used. They used Champion Puma, and she was a regular dog. She was a skittish dog, a shy dog. I would feed her. She wouldn't come out her doghouse until I left to eat. And she stayed like this up to past 2 years old. Like I didn't see anything special in her, but I just let her find herself. I let her take that time to herself, and I slowly start trying to introduce myself to her. I got her when she was a puppy, so um, what she was dealing with was probably a generational thing. I hear some of those macho buck dogs are a little skittish, so understanding that, I gave her time. And after 2.5 years old, I came out the house one day and she was at the end of her chain cutting up. And I'm like, what? Who, what dog is that done snuck in that doghouse? I ain't never seen this dog act like that. you know? So she just needed to take her time to wake up. You know what I mean? And if I would have rushed her or forced her, she probably would have never woke up. So sometimes you got to give those dogs the proper time. Sometimes it may take 3 years, but that's a part of the dog game, being patient. I gave her a time and she woke up and she turned out to be a really good dog. You know, I could have counted her out early and said, man, that's some bull BS. I could have reached out and gave the breeder a bad review, but no, all dogs are different. They take time. So that's why I want to go back to understanding the family that you're working with. You know what I mean? Understanding the family that you're working with, and not being so quick to go experience everything else. You know what I mean? Take some time with the dogs that you got in front of you and understand them specifically, because some might take that 3 years to wake up. Some might be woke at 6 months. Some might be woke at 10 weeks. I got them like that. So they're all different. You know what I mean? So it's all about being a good dog man and being patient. You know what I mean? So for sure. Hey man, we've all made that mistake. You know what I mean? And we get rid of the dog, and then they go to the next yard. 2 years down the line, they're some of the baddest dogs that you done seen, because they didn't live up to your expectations within the time that you wanted them to. So it just goes back to being patient with the dogs and keep your eyes on them, keep on watching them, and be patient and take your time and be gentle with those dogs, man. And they should come around. And if they don't, that's okay. Not all of them are going to work out, and that's what you got to understand too. Everyone from the litter is not going to be what you're looking for. First time breeding a female. Do you think 4 or 5 is too old for her first breeding to be done? No, I don't think that that's too old. I think that's a great age. Uh, you had plenty of time to observe who she was. You had plenty of time to give her the opportunity to work. Um, you had plenty of time to zone in on the traits that she does have. You know what I mean? You had plenty of time to find the proper stud. You know, um, for me, we're not never in no rush to breed young dogs. You know what I mean? Because most of the time, people are in a rush to breed young dogs. Is they're thinking, oh man, if something happened to that dog, that I can't get it again. But man, the dog's parents are still around. You know what I mean? So I'd say don't ever be in a rush to breed any dogs, especially if you don't have a place to keep them all, because it's not all about selling dogs neither in this game, like in the past 4 years, I probably sold honestly, about 5 or 6 puppies. Half of the time I'm giving them to my partners so we could find an understanding of them, so we could watch them ourselves, so we don't have to so they don't have to be rushed on other people's yards because of their expectations. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm all about. Take your time. 4 or 5 was never too old. It's a great age for sure. Yes, sir. Space is a must. It's like, what are you breeding for if you can't keep it? It's like if you created a new shoe, um, and you sold all the shoes to everybody in your neighborhood, but you forgot to keep the base model so you could show it off and show it to other people. That wouldn't be smart. You just gave away everything that you worked hard for, and you don't have nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? So everybody ain't gonna understand, but you got to keep these dogs around so you can understand them. Yeah, at times the money can be good, but if you're in it for the money, then you probably won't even get far with these dogs. Shoot, some of these dogs, the American Pit Bull Terrier, the real American Pit Bull Terrier, is not a fad. It's not something that we do for the money. I invested into some of the Frenchies. You know what I mean? Just for that sake, like if I wanted to make some quick money, that I sell a few Frenchies. You know what I mean? But other than that, my dogs are here to stay for my liking, for my understanding. You know, um, yes, sir. Space is a must. Having that space so you can sit on them for generations. You know what I mean? And another thing is preservation. Being able to preserve those dogs. We've been blessed to be able to have dogs in the sperm bank for 13 years. You know what I mean? We put them away before a lot of people even knew what that was. So we got dogs on ice that we haven't pulled off, and we really don't plan on pulling them off until those right females come along, those life-changing females, those that come along. Then we may use some of that old semen because those dogs that we put up were special. You know what I mean? So um, for sure. Uh, so preservation, yes, sir. Preservation, you know, and not just preserving anything, the right stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of people out there, they got 50, 60 dogs, but can only show you 5 good ones. So what is the point of having the 50 or 60? You know what I mean? It's just a waste of time if you ask me. I'm a lot smaller yard, myself. I keep a small number of dogs. I don't go too crazy. But I pass them to my partners so they can do the same processes that I do with them. You know what I mean? Take your time and select the good ones and pet home all the other ones. If you know what I mean. You know, not all of them are going to be great. Not all of them are going to live up to your expectations. You know what I mean? Just be honest though. Be honest with your eyes. You know. So this month I'm working on growing the channel a little bit more. I wanted to get on here and be more interactive with the people who support me. Um, so that's what I'm doing. And I appreciate y'all again for tuning in. Shout out to Bottom Boy Kennels. Shout out to AQ Henry Kennels. Shout out to Mayhem Kennels. Hey man, I appreciate y'all for always tuning in, baby. Um, like I said, feel free to ask more questions. I'll chime in as best as I can. I'm no expert, and I don't claim to be. I'm still always learning every day. One thing I know is I got a lot of history with the breed. You know what I mean? I'm 32 years old. I've been running around with a pit bull since I was 6 and 7 years old. They couldn't keep me away from him. You know, even when my parents said, no, you can't have that, they try to give me Rottweilers and Masters and everything. I still found my way back to the pit bull. And man, And I always had the best dogs in the neighborhood when it came to being in shape, because we would get on my bike after school. We would ride and ride and ride and ride. That's when the dogs were really durable. You know what I mean? And back then, having a durable dog was important because we put miles on them and their pads didn't break down. You know, we ran them in the sun. They didn't have heat strokes. You know what I mean? So this is the type of dog that you want to try to produce in the future. Durable dogs, you know. So that's what I'm going for. Dogs that can hold up and withstand any workload. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got some nice little young pups right now off of Farrakhan the Great, and I call him that because he really is great. You know what I mean? I'm honest with it with my eyes. You know, not everyone is great. You know, and so when you hear me say great, I mean that. You know what I mean? Um, so I'll show y'all a few of the pups. They're about 4 weeks old. Let me go grab a few for y'all. Here we go. We got 2 females on the end and 1 male in the middle. Yes, sir. Females not coming in heat. What's the topic on that? Well, it could be different reasons. It could be lack of exercise sometimes. Um, it can be genetics. Like I got a female right now who's so heavy on bred on her line that she only has heats every 1.5 years or so. You know what I mean? So it can be genetics. It could be not enough exercise. It could be lack of her diet. You know, it could be all these things. So take in consideration what she comes from, and uh, ask yourself when's the last time she came in the heat and the things that you might have been doing to bring her in the heat. I know a few natural ways to help bring them in heat. Sometimes if you got another female that's in heat, I rub a paper towel on her or a rag, and I'll put it in the other female's kennel that I'm having trouble bringing in the heat. And sometimes that'll work. You know what I mean? She'll smell that towel and her hormones will get going. Yes, sir. B12 works also. What is it? Um, um, there's a few essential oils that you can use. These essential oils always help me every time I put them on those. My females get to go in the heat. Exercise is a big thing. You get them working and stress them out a little bit, they'll come in the heat. So yeah, I'd say try some of those methods. You know, if those don't work, get her to the doctor and see if she has anything going on internally, or you know what I mean. See if her eggs are normal. You know what I mean, and those type of things. Trust me, I've dealt with it. Look at this little girl. She's the only buckskin in the litter. This is a combination of my Farrakhan, a great dog, bred to a 50% crow dog, which was Jaeger. I got a Jaeger daughter. This is the mom to her, Jaeger daughter, bred to Farrakhan the Great. And her name is Kamikaze. If you check out the ped on there, it's up. You know, it's combining some of that Barracuda. I added some of the Jeep, and I added some of the Eli with Farrakhan. You know what I mean? So onto the crow line. We know the crow line is proven. We know that it's many generations of that stuff that's working all around the world. You know what I mean? And same with Farrakhan. He's working in the States. His dogs are working all around the world. People are happy with them. So these are foundation dogs right here, man. I couldn't ask for better parents. You know, I combined some of the 2 best individuals that I got to make these puppies. You know, sometimes the seal colored dogs throw buckskins. Yep, you're right about that. Also, Kamikaze's mom, these puppies' mom is a buckskin, Crazy Brenda. You probably see her on my page too. Crazy Brenda is their grandmother, and she was a buckskin. So when I bred Jaeger to Crazy Brenda, I didn't get one buckskin. I got 2 black females. And you probably see that dog on there, La Terrible. She's working, and Kamikaze. Those are the dogs from the result of that breeding. But so I got a little throwback. You know what I mean? Got a little throwback in there. You know, she's beautiful. They're acting good. They're developing good. They're getting fat. They're 4 weeks old. They started eating. They got that look to them already, man. They're going to be nice. Nice dog. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, y'all like, comment, and subscribe on this video, man. Even if y'all can share, do that for me, man. You know, we're trying to build our YouTube up a little bit, and we're going to be dropping the knowledge that we gain on a daily. You know, it's always, with me, it's always studying. It's always finding new understanding. Man, like I said, I'm hands-on with all these dogs, man. I do my own conditioning. I do my own breedings. I do my own nutrition. You know what I mean? I do things my way. And a lot does come from trial and error. You know what I mean? It's kind of similar. These dogs is kind of similar to the cannabis plant, if y'all know anything about that. You know, a lot of people can tell you how to do it, but you won't never understand until you just get up and do it yourself. You know what I mean? So that's a big thing about these dogs. You got to put in the work, and it'll come to you. You know. Do you think staying within the same color of dog matters? No, I don't think it matters. You know what I mean? I really don't think it matters. Shoot, I could care what color you are, as long as you're possessing those traits. You know, you're gonna stay in my program. You know what I mean? So, yes, this one is buckskin, but if she doesn't possess those traits, then she won't be added to the next generation. I promise you that. You know what I mean? And the same goes for the black dog. If this one doesn't possess the traits that I'm looking for, she won't be added to the next generation of the dog, you know? So no, I'm not big on color. You know what I mean? I started off with a lot of black and white dogs, and I added buckskin. If you look at my Great Northwest MD dog, he was a buckskin dog, and he's in every one of these dogs. You can see him doubled up for the past 15 years. You know what I mean? And then, I don't think the color matters, man. You know, but your line should be consistent to certain colors, though. You know what I mean? If you start getting things that your line is not used to throwing, then you know, there might have been something else in there. You know, that's why I encourage breeding on your own yard. You know what I mean? Everybody is so quick to jump on these fads and go get things from other people, but there's no real way of knowing what you got unless you do it yourself. You know what I mean? So I promote doing it yourself. Hey man, I appreciate that. Bro, I don't think people really understand the caliber of dogs you put together. You do got some really good stuff. Yes, sir. I appreciate that compliment, brother. And they haven't really, begin to understand yet. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Because this didn't happen overnight, for us. A lot of people, they think that they can do it overnight, but it don't happen overnight. It took a lot of years and a lot of planned and a lot of understanding to have these type of caliber dogs that I had. You know what I mean? And it took a lot of discipline and a lot of preservation. When other people were giving up on their lines, you know what I mean? I stayed true to mine. They thought that there were better dogs in front of them that they seen, so they jumped on the bandwagon and they forgot about what they had. You know what I mean? I stayed down and I didn't forget about what I had. You know what I mean? I kept it going and I kept it going, and I'm gonna keep on going, and I'm gonna keep on continue to take the best of the best, and I'm not gonna settle for anything less. You know what I mean? And that's what's gonna keep us superior. So I just encourage everybody do it like this. Stay true to what you do. You know what I mean? And you'll be able to have good dogs too. Much love, Bottom Boy Kennels. Yes, sir. I'm gonna put these little guys, these little dudes back. I'm gonna bring Mama back in. So give me a sec. You guys don't have to whisper or nothing. It's all good. You hear me?
Yep. You going to go to the Breakfast Club?
Feel free to talk. It's all good. You don't have to be quiet or anything, Grandma. Yes, sir. So I'll give a little bit of history of where we started, and it all started with the White Oak Biter dogs, and you know how they got their start. They got their start from Floyd Bujo, So our foundation dogs were White Oak Biter dogs, which were pretty much pure Eli dogs, Skull, Midnight Cowboy combinations. And we started with those dogs going down to their yard and getting a few individuals that happened to be working on the level that we were looking for. And the rest is history. You know what I mean? We knew after a while when we took those pure dogs together, which was the original King dog. If you look in those pads, you'll see the original King dog, and you'll see the original Widow dog, and we took those two dogs and we bred them together. And from those dogs, we knew we were going to need a little outcross in there to keep them honest, So we went to we went to the MD come from? Well, anyways, we got the MD dog, and he was a combination of Mayday, heavy honey bunch dogs coming through. The bottom half was mechanic, the top half was Mayday lady dog coming from the Lynch stuff, So we bred. He worked out for us just the way that we expected. He was an additive that we needed. He kept them coming. You know what I mean? He kept them hot and spicy. He was like that since he came out the coochie. When we opened that kennel at 9 weeks, he went and banged one in the chest. So he was that dog that kept him coming. So we added that combination to our Eli dogs, and that's what we've been running with ever since. If you see them, like we got them 5 times now in our pet. We got the MD dogs over our White Oak Biter Eli dogs. You know what I mean? And every now and then I'll bring in something else that's special. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we go right back to that. Let's see. Let's get back to some of these questions. Appreciate that, Mayhem Kennels. Pups looking phenomenal. Thank you. What type of feed you feeding? Right now, I'm on raw chicken quarters and Victor. I rotate in between the two. Sometimes if I don't feel like feeding kibble, then I'll toss everybody a few chicken quarters. But that's what I'm on right now. Shoot, it's just the daily upkeep of the dogs, man. Most days I add lemon to their water. Some days I'll add lime to their water. Some days I'll add apple cider vinegar to their water. I make sure everybody is updated on all their vaccines. You know what I mean? I make sure everybody's dewormed out. As long as you do that, man, you keep the fleas and the mosquitoes off your dogs, then your dogs will look pretty good too. I had to get away from that Victor Teal. It was just a little too hot for the dogs that weren't working. So right now I switched over to a different bag of feed. Hold on one moment. I'll grab it for you. Let you guys see. I got the bag here. I'll go out there and get it in a second. I'm on this Nutra Pro. You know, it's a little less hot. You know what I mean? You can start them from puppy to adults with this one. You know what I mean? And this is working good for me right now. You know, it's a little expensive, you know, for people who have a lot of dogs, you know, but that's where you can get those chicken quarters for a lot cheaper, and you can balance it out, you know, feed kibble some days and feed other things other days. You know? Don't forget about the proper exercise too, y'all. Let's see. What type of feed? Yes, sir. Old school dogs. Yes, sir. That's what I like to maintain, those old school lines, man. They're just a little bit more durable than the dogs of today. So everything I do usually is pulling from old dogs. If you look at Farrakhan's dad, he was 9 years old when I bred to him. You know what I mean? If you look at the Jaeger dog, he was 6 years old when I bred to him. And their parents are even older than that. You know what I mean? They weren't bred when they were young. They were really understood before they were bred. Do you think Eli dogs are the most dogs in today's time? I don't really understand that question all the way. But yeah, I do. If I'm understanding it the way that I think you're trying to come across, yeah, every line is deriving from the Eli line. If we want to be honest, you know what I mean. Jeep dogs are Eli dogs. You know, Bolio dogs are Eli dogs. You know what I mean? All these lines are really deriving from the Eli dogs. You know, they just develop new names. But so yeah, there are a lot of them. A lot of people want to shit on the Eli dogs, but at the end of the day, you can't deny them. They're in everything, you know. Let's see. Hey, shout out Lewis Floors. What it do? New to the channel. Good looking dogs. I appreciate that, brother. Much love to you and your program. Yes, leg quarters and raw. That's less poop. Yes, sir. The Victor creates less poop for me too, and it creates a poop that's manageable. You know, it's darker, it's not runny. You know what I mean? So that's why I encourage that feed. Even though it's a little bit more expensive, I'll take it. You know what I mean? I add a couple apple cider vinegar to my dog's raw feed every time I feed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, from my understanding, you probably want to cut back and do it every time, but a few times a week is good. You know what I mean? It is like a daily dewormer. Yes, sir. Keep the worms up out of them. You know, every now and then I'll add just a little bit of garlic. People say the garlic is toxic for dogs, but if you overdo it, yeah, anything is toxic if you overdo it. You know what I mean? So it's got to be a balance to everything. Yup. Shout out to Reese Smith. Much love, brother. Victor Pro, Victor Yukon, Taste of the Wild, and Raw for me. Yes, sir. That Taste of the Wild works good when mixed with the Victor. I've had good success with that. I fed that for years. Yes, sir. Salmon and sweet based kibbles. Yes, sir. You know, you want to be mindful of what you're feeding a dog when it's stagnant and not working every day. You don't have to feed such high quality, you know what I mean? But when a dog is working and it needs that recovery from its food, you know what I mean? It's getting those vitamins and those nutritions that it needs from those foods. So yeah, my feeding will be a totally different during when working those dogs. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Don't forget about those essential oils. You know, those essential oils is everything to those dogs. Keep their coat shiny, keep them happy, keep them energetic. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Sweet potatoes. Yes, sir. Chicken thighs, sweet potatoes, carrots, green beans, chicken heart, chicken marrow, omega-3 sixes, vitamin B6s, vitamin A, yogurt, plain and kale. Yes, sir. All the things that I use too, baby. That's a good regimen right there. Respect. Eggs and olive oil. Yep. All day. All day. Hey man, this is free game right now, man. Y'all, anybody that's new to take y'all, make sure y'all got y'all book. Take these notes, man, and try it yourself. Try some of these methods that these people are mentioning. I'm sure a lot of these people got years and years in the dogs, just like myself. You know what I mean? And I learn new things every day too. So I'm taking my mental notes. You know what I mean? So y'all should be doing the same, baby. Um, that's what this dog community is about. It's about coming together and learning from each other, you know, coming together, being competitive and respectful. You know what I mean? We all think we got the best dogs, right? So that's how it's supposed to be. Don't be mad at nobody for when they claim that they're the best. Everybody was mad at Floyd Mayweather because he said he was the best ever to do it. You know what I mean? But he really believed he was. So that's okay. You know what I mean? Muhammad Ali, he thought he was the greatest ever. You know what I mean? If you don't think you're the greatest, I don't know what you're doing. You know? So a lot of the things is not just having great dogs, having great morals yourself. You know what I mean? Like I do good business with people, so that's what takes us to another level too. You know what I mean? Moral for business and more having morals in your character. You know what I mean? The person you are. You know. Yes, sir. This is what I feed daily. I grind my meats up. It's cost efficient for me. Yes, sir. Cost efficient and easier to digest. You know, I definitely want to try grinding the meat up. That's something I haven't done yet. Yes, sir. Respect to the fraternity, baby. And I want to drop a disclaimer on here, man. We do not promote any illegal activity with our dogs. We are all the way 100% in it for the show ring, the ADBA shows, the wall climb, the high jump. We participate in weight pool with our dogs. We do everything that are legal to show our dogs in a better light. You know what I mean? That's what we're about. You know what I mean? So we're never on here promoting anything illegal or any illegal activities. Much respect to the fraternity. 100% disclaimer. Yes, sir. We got to protect ourselves, to protect our dogs. You know what I mean? They all want to throw us in the one pot and make us all the same, but we aren't all the same. Some of us care about our dogs. Some of them take great care of our dogs. Some of them, keep a healthy and clean yard. You know what I mean? Some of us are responsible with our dogs, and we teach them the right way. We take them and we allow them to see the world. You know what I mean? We allow them to be introduced to kids, so we won't never have a problem with them biting kids. You know what I mean? So these are the things that great dog men do. This is what separate us from everybody else. For sure. For sure. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Again, Constant Pressure Kennels. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook. If you're not, like, comment, and subscribe on this YouTube video. Hey, man, tell a friend about us. If you hit me up, I'll check out your program. I'll check out your websites if you got them. Ours isn't up just yet, but we're working on that. We'll have a website up by, I'd say 2 or 3 months. The website should be up. Hey, much respect, Bottom Boy Kennels. Appreciate y'all again for tuning in. Constant Pressure Kennels. We're out.